Tonight on NewsWatch, how the Israeli government is using drone technology in the fight against terrorism. Plus, as the calls for stricter gun laws grow louder, we'll look at why some states are passing new measures giving gun owners more rights. And how missionaries are working to reach the millions impacted by the civil war in Syria. All this and much more tonight on NewsWatch. Good evening, everyone. I'm Wendy Griffith. Many Americans worry the U.S. government could use drones to spy or even attack its own citizens. By contrast, the Israeli Defense Forces are using a relatively new type of drone to save Israeli and Palestinian lives. Chris Mitchell has our story from the Negev Desert.
It's called Skylark, one of the world's smallest drones. It's the kind of tool becoming more and more crucial to the global war on terror.
It's a game changer. Once, they didn't know what was behind this house, what was behind this mountain. Now in 2 seconds, and you can act accordingly.
The IDF gave CBN News a rare look at this mini unmanned aerial system, or UAS, in the Negev Desert. The 13-pound Skylark is carried in a backpack to the field.
Its goal is to assist the ground forces with live intelligence from the next hill, the next corner, the next alley.
The unit can assemble the Skylark and launch it within 8 minutes. It gives Israeli troops a new advantage in the field.
And the unique thing is that they are actually walking in the field and like every ground troops and using advanced technology.
This high-tech drone is actually launched from a bungee cord into the wind. It doesn't take long before it's out of sight. It can fly up to 15,000 feet in the air for 3 hours at about 50 miles an hour, and even faster if there's a good tailwind. Noam Goldstein is an officer in training.
Right now, basically, we're 3 people on the computer, but each one of us has different jobs. Basically, right here, he's actually flying the plane. He's in charge of giving all the commands. Basically, everything that the plane does is under his control.
Soldiers don't need flight experience to operate it. Only point the camera and the Skylark responds, relaying real-time video day or night in all weather conditions. It can save troops from ambush, prevent civilian casualties on the enemy side, and solve legal questions because everything is recorded.
It's a legal proof that there weren't civilians there, that's really terrorists.
According to the Skylark's developer and manufacturer Elbit, the UAS is currently operated by NATO countries and others around the world, including the UK, in Iraq and Afghanistan. When Skylark is finished, the engine stalls, an airbag pops out, and the UAS drops to the ground. Mission accomplished. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, shift to Army Base, the Negev Desert.
It's pretty cool. Well, kidnappers are targeting Christians in a southern province in Egypt. More than 150 Christians have been kidnapped for ransom in the province of Minya over the past 2 years. Church leaders say the rise of the Muslim Brotherhood is partly to blame. That's because criminals are emboldened by the preaching of Islamic clerics who declare that Christians are second-class citizens. Christians rarely report the kidnappings because they don't believe the police will help them. One priest says local officials don't prosecute Muslims accused of attacking Christian homes and churches, and that just encourages more crime. Tension continues between North Korea and the U.S. While U.S. officials say they don't believe Kim Jong-un won't act on his threats of war, they say it's better to be cautious.
I think we need to be careful and try to give Kim Jong-un an incentive to walk back from this brink, even as we also show firmness in our response.
The North Korea regime has cut off communications with the South and proclaimed that a state of war exists between the two countries. It's also threatened the United States and moved 2 missiles it says can travel a considerable range to its east coast. If a missile is fired, it could hit Japan as well as U.S. bases in Okinawa and Guam, home to thousands of Americans. While some states are passing new gun control laws, others are going in the opposite direction, passing new measures that give gun owners more rights. Ephraim Graham has this look at how different states are going opposite ways, starting with the new gun control actions in Connecticut and Maryland.
They're being called some of the strongest and most comprehensive gun laws in the nation. In Maryland, a bill that would force you to submit fingerprints to buy a handgun and limit magazines to 10 bullets. The State House and Senate just passed the bill, sending it to Democratic Governor Martin O'Malley, who proposed the legislation. Gun control advocates say the fingerprinting requirement will keep guns away from criminals.
We're not naive and think that it's going to cut down on all the violence and everything like that, but it's a step in the right direction in terms of trying to combat the straw purchasing and the illegal guns.
In Connecticut, Governor Daniel Malloy signed a 139-page gun control bill into law. Lawmakers there are still feeling the loss of the 20 children and 6 adults killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School.
The tragedy in Newtown demands a powerful response.
The bill expands the current state ban on assault weapons. It requires background checks for all firearms sales. It also bans the sale or purchase of magazines that would hold more than 10 rounds. And the bill addresses mental health and school security measures.
It certainly will help us here in Connecticut feel safer and more confident that this won't happen again.
Critics argue it does nothing to stop someone like Adam Lanza, who was not a law-abiding citizen and stole the guns he used.
Making it more onerous, more cumbersome, more burdensome on law-abiding citizens in our state is not the solution.
This year, 5 states have passed laws strengthening gun restrictions, but the march to expand gun rights hasn't exactly slowed in the wake of the Sandy Hook massacre. Many pro-gun laws are gaining ground. 10 states have passed laws that weaken gun restrictions, including Arkansas, South Dakota, Tennessee, and Kentucky. A recent CBS News poll shows 47% of Americans support stricter gun control laws, down from a peak of 57% just after the Sandy Hook shooting. Ephraim Graham, CBN News.
And for more on the gun control debate, we turn now to Ken Klukowski. He's the director of the Center for Religious Liberty at the Family Research Council. Ken, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Great to be with you.
Well, Ken, some states are passing gun control measures, but the president is also pushing for national gun laws. What are some of his proposals?
Well, what the president is pushing for is politicians have invented a term called an assault weapon. I say it's invented because that's not a type of firearm. It's not an assault rifle, which is a class of firearm. These assault weapons bans don't cover all assault rifles at all, and they cover many other commonly used firearms that are not any type of rifle. But this vaguely defined class of assault weapons, they're trying to ban those. They're trying to ban higher capacity magazines. And they're focusing on various cosmetic features that makes these guns supposedly evil, such as having a pistol grip versus a standard grip, such as whether they have a bayonet lug on the end of the barrel. That's the bayonet, of course, is the knife that can go on a gun. This isn't that knife. It's just the little lug that you attach one to. I have no idea how that suddenly makes a firearm evil, but that was a feature in the 1994 assault weapons ban, and those are many of the same features that are now being recycled as people are talking about new gun control legislation.
Do you think the president's plan will work?
I don't. The only provision that I think has any chance of passing is the idea of universal background checks. I think that would depend on how it's worded. I think even organizations that originally supported that have since stepped back, because if you have, for example, a grandfather handing down an antique shotgun to his grandson for Christmas, that's not something that a lot of people think you have to go through the federal government to be able to do. But if you look at everything else that's going on, certain types of ammunition magazines, certain types of ammunition itself, different models of firearm, all of those are just focusing on the tools, and they're drawing a number of arbitrary distinctions. Many of those restrictions would actually be unconstitutional. But you have to remember, you're dealing, in this case, the president supported, when he was running for president, he supported the Chicago gun ban that the Supreme Court struck down in 2010 in McDonald v. Chicago. And that was a complete ban on any ownership of any firearms, even in the privacy of your own home, even if you're a law-abiding citizen. So I think if we look at that as the president's baseline, but the Supreme Court says he can't go that far, he seems to be trying to see what kind of incremental approach could move us in that direction.
Okay, Ken Klukowski, we appreciate your insights. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
In other news, a slowdown in March job gains could signal a weakening economy this spring. Employers added only 88,000 jobs last month. The percentage of Americans working or looking for jobs fell to 63.3%. That's the lowest in 34 years. However, the unemployment rate dipped from 7.7 to 7.6, the lowest in 4 years. Experts say it's because people have stopped looking for work. They blame reduced paychecks from higher taxes and new government spending cuts for the downturn. Even so, economists and investors are hoping that the economy will keep up its slow recovery. One positive sign, housing prices have been improving steadily. A new report says home prices are up over 10% in the last year. And despite questions about the health of the job market, some business leaders say it looks like the economy is on the mend.
There really is a sense that things are recovering, and we feel that too. So, despite maybe what some of the numbers say, I think there's just a better, more positive feeling out there.
Many economists also predict the slow but steady recovery to continue through the rest of the year. And coming up, why leaders from across the country pause to pray, reflect, and celebrate at the White House today.
Someone once said, life doesn't give do-overs, but that's not entirely true.
What a remarkable comeback for Kurt Warner.
I'm Kurt Warner, and I got a second chance that changed my life. I remember those feelings. I didn't want to fail. I want to give you an opportunity to chase after your dream.
Seriously?
When you know you were meant to do something, you can't let life stand in your way.
This is what I've been trying for so many years.
I've been given a second chance.
The Moment, a new reality series hosted by Kurt Warner, premieres Thursday, April 11th at 10, only on USA.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Someone once said, life doesn't give do-overs, but that's not entirely true.
What a remarkable comeback for Kurt Warner.
I'm Kurt Warner, and I got a second chance that changed my life. I remember those feelings. I didn't want to fail. I want to give you an opportunity to chase after your dream.
Seriously?
When you know you were meant to do something, you can't let life stand in your way.
This is what I've been trying for so many years.
I've been given a second chance.
The Moment, a new reality series hosted by Kurt Warner, premieres Thursday, April 11th at 10, only on USA.
1 week after Good Friday, Christian leaders from across the country gathered at the White House to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. President Obama says this Easter was distinctively special for him. White House correspondent Jennifer Wishon explains.
Because the Lord is my shepherd, I have everything I need.
A collective sigh of agreement burst out among Christians in the East Room of the White House as the children of the gospel choir sang its first notes. Vice President Joe Biden told the crowd the most animating principle of the Obama administration is to look out for the least among us.
As we move forward as a nation, I do believe we're going to be judged on how we answer that call.
President Obama says this year, Easter was particularly special for him. Just days before the holiday, he stood on the sacred earth of Israel, where he says he felt the spirit of Jesus Christ.
And I was reminded that while our time on earth is fleeting, he is eternal. His life, his lessons live on in our hearts and most importantly in our actions.
Being in the Holy Land brings Scripture to life, he says. In Bethlehem, he toured the Church of the Nativity, which the president says was especially moving.
As I approached the altar of the Nativity, as I neared the 14-pointed silver star that marks the spot where Christ was born, the Patriarch of Jerusalem welcomed me to, in his words, the place where heaven and earth met. And there I had a chance to pray and reflect on Christ's birth and his life, his sacrifice, his resurrection.
President Obama is counting on evangelical Christians to help him achieve a major goal of his second term, comprehensive immigration reform. He's already met with Christian and other faith leaders, and he's counting on their support as Congress crafts a bill. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, the White House.
What a great story. Thanks, Jennifer. Well, a federal judge is ordering the emergency contraception pill known as Plan B be made available to all women of reproductive age without a prescription. That's a reversal of a decision by the Obama administration's Health and Human Service Secretary Kathleen Sebelius. In 2011, she issued a requirement that girls younger than 17 need a doctor's order for that drug. Today's ruling by U.S. District Judge Edward Corman comes after reproductive rights groups sued to remove the age restriction. Up next, why are all these Muslim women in a Christian church? Find out when we come back.
From CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others. All for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry. Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
Someone once said, life doesn't give do-overs. But that's not entirely true.
What a remarkable comeback for Kurt Warner.
I'm Kurt Warner, and I got a second chance that changed my life. I remember those feelings. I didn't want to fail. I want to give you an opportunity to chase after your dream.
Seriously?
When you know you were meant to do something, you can't let life stand in your way.
This is what I've been trying for so many years.
I've been given a second chance.
The Moment, a new reality series hosted by Kurt Warner, premieres Thursday, April 11th at 10, only on USA.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Someone once said, life doesn't give do-overs. But that's not entirely true.
What a remarkable comeback for Kurt Warner.
I'm Kurt Warner, and I got a second chance that changed my life. I remember those feelings. I didn't want to fail. I want to give you an opportunity to chase after your dream.
Seriously?
When you know you were meant to do something, you can't let life stand in your way.
This is what I've been trying for so many years.
I've been given a second chance.
The Moment, a new reality series hosted by Kurt Warner, premieres Thursday, April 11th at 10, only on USA.
Welcome back. More than 80,000 people have died in Syria in the last 2 years since the protests began against the regime of Bashar Assad. And March was the deadliest month so far. But there's hope amid all the tragedy, as missionaries are trying to help the refugees who've escaped the brutal fighting. I recently traveled to Jordan to bring you this report.
More than 100 burqa-clad refugees
filed into this church in northern Jordan for a 2-day women's conference. Yes, a bit unusual to see so many Muslim women in church. But then again, these are unusual times in the Middle East, and people are seeking comfort wherever it is offered. The death and destruction in Syria is overwhelming. At least 80,000 people have been killed and 1 million have fled the country. Jordan is hosting almost 500,000 refugees, and officials say that figure could double by the end of the year. There's a mix of anger and sadness among these veiled women who've seen things no one should ever have to.
There was an area beside our house where they were abusing the girls and the women and killing their men. It was horrible. We had to leave.
Most blame Syrian President Bashar Assad.
I hope to go back to Syria and build again, but we don't want Bashar.
Nearly all who've escaped have a heartbreaking story. 16-year-old Ropa lost her father in the bloody civil war. She, her mother, and younger siblings escaped to Jordan, but she misses her father and her country. Today, at least for a few hours, they've been given relief from their pain.
I feel like I'm with my family. I feel better, and I feel safe now.
Missionaries from E3 Partners invited them to hear about Jesus and even take part in a foot washing ceremony. As part of the mission team, I took part as well.
For many, their feet have walked more than 100 miles, escaping gunfire and under the cover of darkness, to come here to Jordan, where Christians are ministering the love of Jesus.
There were hugs, tears, and smiles, as differences in culture and religion seemed to vanish.
Several of the women sitting up there had tears already coming down their eyes before they even sat down. So I know God was moving in their heart. They don't know Jesus as their Savior yet, but our prayer is that before this conference is over, that they'll meet Jesus not just as the prophet, but Jesus as the Savior.
The women enjoyed a lunch of chicken and rice as their children played games and had their faces painted, their sadness turning to joy as the day went on. Many were profoundly moved by the experience.
It was difficult at the beginning, but we found kind people like the Christians here, helping us to survive in Jordan.
No one knows how much longer the war will go on, or if there will even be a Syria to go back to. Although Jordan has willingly opened its doors, not everyone here is happy about the refugees taking their jobs and housing. E3 Partners Middle East Director Tom Doyle called it the worst humanitarian crisis in the Middle East in 20 years.
The problem is overwhelming to the government of Jordan. Remember, there's still a war going on in Iraq, and they've got those refugees and then a lot of Egyptians too. And so there's been an opportunity to feed them, clothe them, reach out to them with Jesus' love, and they are seeing a difference.
This is the ancient city of Jericho, part of the Decapolis mentioned in the Gospels, where Jesus visited and did many miracles. In the background, you can also see the modern city of Jericho, home to thousands of Sunni Muslims. And Jesus is appearing to them 2,000 years later, many in dreams and visions.
And so they have a dream about Jesus, they see how Christians are treating them, and they can't help it but be drawn into Jesus.
Well, I think Christians ought to be known, number one, for their love. That's our one-word summary of the gospel. And love is active and is going to reach out and show the people who Jesus was. And in his life, which was lived out and even came in this area in the Decapolis, he always went to the people that were despised, the ones that were the down and outers. The Syrians right now are very despised. The Sunni Muslims, they're being pushed out of the country. What better time than for Jesus to show them his love for them?
I was especially moved by Ropa, who told me in perfect English, "I love you," the only English words she knew. She shared her food with me, and on our last day, put a purple watch on my wrist that I know was dear to her. She listened, along with the other Muslim women, to the story of Jesus dying on a cross so she can have eternal life. And thanks to the love she received in Jordan, she's now open to a relationship with Jesus.
I'll tell you what, I will never look at a burqa the same way. It really changes your perspective. Well, for more information, or if you'd just like to leave your thoughts and prayers for the Syrian refugees, you can visit our website, cbn.com.
and yeah, on our website, cbnnews.com. Well, up next, what this little preschooler knew that saved her grandmother's life.
Ow, my feet hurt. My feet hurt, your feet hurt. White hot pain, I wanna cry. Is there anything I can try?
Why, yes! Introducing Strut Soul Angels, the human shock absorber that helps alleviate foot pain.
The first 10 steps in the morning to the bathroom were excruciating. Within 3 days after I put Struts on, it's been such a relief.
Slipped it on and almost immediately I felt a support, kind of like a pillow underneath my arches.
The Struts Soul Angel provides a great amount of relief and support throughout the course of the day, providing shock absorption and relief of pain.
On your feet without proper support can be painful. Strut Soul Angels promotes better balance, control, and body alignment. Standing in your heels all day is painful, but slip on Struts and you'll enjoy comfort and support 24/7. Struts is so versatile, you'll wear them in every shoe you own, even barefoot.
I'm on my feet all the time. I teach 11 and 12-year-olds. The pain was so much that I knew I had to do something. And with the Struts, I can do my job and enjoy my job.
I usually am on my feet from 8 to 12 hours a day. When I wear my Struts, it's like giving my feet a hug all day.
It's life-changing. I wear them from the minute I get up to the minute I go to bed.
Why pay $400 for custom orthotics?
Now get Strut Soul Angels for just $10. You also get Miracle Foot Repair Cream, absolutely free. Use it to help relieve dry, callous feet overnight. But wait, call right now and we'll double the offer free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Plus, you get a 100% money-back guarantee. If not completely delighted, send it back. But keep the foot cream as our gift just for trying. You get it all. A $70 value for just $10.
Oh, yes! Love my Struts, love my Struts. The best thing since sliced bread. They heal pain from toes to head. Get yours now, your doctor said.
Struts. Be nice to your feet. Call now.
Call 1-800-787-1580 and get your Struts and Miracle Foot Repair for just $10 and we'll double the offer. That's 1-800-787-1580 or visit getstruts.com.
Well, ever wonder how your child would react in the face of an emergency? Well, a family in Texas now knows their young preschooler called 911 after her grandmother collapsed in the yard.
And she was very calm. She was able to give a lot of great information to the dispatcher.
And I went out of the house and I waved my hand to know which house was right.
She is very adept at using my iPhone, and when you slide it, it goes automatically to emergency call, and she knew to call 911.
How adorable is she? 4-year-old Samantha White was awarded a gold medal by the city and even given a ride in the local fire truck. Wow. Rescue professionals stress that parents familiarize their kids with safety steps in case of similar situations. Some helpful hints include role playing to show children what a real emergency looks like. Tell them to be a big kid and call 911. And finally, teach your kids how to remember important information like their street address by using songs. What a great idea. What a little sweet hero. We love her. Well, that's all for this edition of NewsWatch. Remember, you can email us your comments and questions at cbn.com. Have a great weekend. Good night.